Some plants should be started inside before it's warm enough to plant them outdoors. There are a couple of reasons to do this. One is to lengthen the growing season because some plants need a long time to grow. For example, some hot pepper plants need up to 150 days to grow big enough to harvest. In Minnesota, our frost-free growing season is about 140 days, so they need to be started a lot earlier, before the last frost. In Minnesota, that's usually in late April. The other reason to start plants inside is because some don't do well when you plant them directly in the garden. Pests could eat the seeds or the seedlings before they get a chance to grow. Some plants that can be started inside are tomatoes, peppers, eggplants, cucumber, squash, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, and many more. Some seeds do better when you plant them directly in the garden, like those that have fragile root systems such as carrots, spinach, beets, and peas, because you don't want to disturb those fragile roots when you transplant them. Another group of seeds that do better directly in the garden are those that sprout quickly, like radishes, beans, and turnips. So let's get started planting our seeds. You may have seen store-bought seedlings in containers like this, but you can reuse things you have in your own home to start your seeds. One thing you can use is an egg carton. So you want to just cut it up into all of its little parts. And then you have 12 little planters. You want to poke holes in the bottom of these too, so that water can drain out when you water them. Be very careful when you do this. Just like that. You can also use a paper towel roll or a toilet paper roll. If you're using a paper towel roll, you'll want to cut it in half first. But then you just fold in one side so that it will hold soil. Doesn't have to be pretty. And then water can drain through the little hole in the middle. One cool thing to note about the paper towel or toilet paper rolls and the egg cartons is that you can plant those just straight in your garden when your seeds have sprouted, and they will decompose in the ground. One other thing you can use is a milk jug. So you'll want to cut off the end. Maybe start your cut right here. You can recycle this part. And then you'll want to poke holes in the bottom here. I'm going to make 4 holes. Just like that. And those are a few things you can use to start seeds in your house. If you can find other things, go ahead. You can buy potting soil at a hardware store or plant nursery that is sterilized, which means it's free of weed seeds, diseases, and pests. But if you have access to soil at home, you can do it in your own kitchen. So you just have to fill up a container with soil, take out any leaves or grass or twigs, and then you just bake it in your oven at 200 degrees for 30 minutes or until it reaches an internal temperature of 180 degrees. And then you have sterilized soil. Just let it cool before you plant any seeds in it. This might be surprising, but you actually want to water your soil before you plant your seeds. It helps decrease the amount of dust and helps keep the seeds in place when you water them later. So I'm going to show you how you know you have the perfect amount of water in your soil. First, we'll come over to this one. Pick up a handful And when I squeeze it, lots of water comes out. That's too wet. I'll come over to this one, pick it up, squeeze it, no water comes out. It's very dry. If we take a look at this one, when I squeeze it, a couple drops of water come out, and that is just right. So you have your planting containers and you have your cool, moist soil. The next thing to do is plant your seeds. So let's fill the container until it's about a couple centimeters from the top. Just like that, nice and full. And then we'll get our seeds. So we'll use this big squash seed as an example. A good rule to follow is to plant your seed twice as deep as the seed is wide or long. So this seed is about half an inch long. I would plant it an inch deep in the soil. So I'll make a little hole with my pinky, about an inch deep. Drop my seed in there and cover it up. And then repeat as many times as you want. Your seeds need warmth and water to sprout, and when they do sprout in a few days to a couple of weeks, they will need light. So put your seeds in a sunny window. You can see mine here in this south-facing window. You can also see I put a plastic bag over it, and that is to create a little bit of a greenhouse so that heat gets trapped inside there and keeps my seeds warm. And as I said, I put my planter in a south-facing window. That's the best option because they get the most light. If you don't have a south-facing window, a west-facing window is the next best, then an east-facing window, then north. You could also purchase a plant light or a grow light if you want. You can get them at lots of plant nurseries or hardware stores, and they're perfect for plants because they put out a lot of red and blue light, which plants love. And those lights can help you get better germination rates and have more plants survive. You're off to a great start on your gardening journey. Now you just have to wait for those seeds to sprout. Make sure you keep your soil moist, so check that every day and water if you need to. And once those seedlings grow, you can plant them outside in your garden 2 to 3 weeks after the last frost. Best of luck!